A few days ago, Tesla unveiled their latest vehicle, the Tesla Model Y, an electric crossover that is more affordable than the company's existing SUV, the Model X. And almost as soon as the company unveiled their new vehicle, a narrative in the media started to develop that basically said, the Model Y is boring. And the reason that this narrative seems to have developed is that the Model Y is very similar to Tesla's existing vehicle, the Model 3, although it is a crossover, and it does have a few features that are different from the Model 3, but these are features that can be found in Tesla's other vehicles like the Model S and the Model X. So in this video, I really want to explore why this narrative of the Tesla Model Y being so similar to the Model 3 and not really doing anything really new is actually a good thing. So let's dive in. And the first thing that we need to talk about is the Tesla Model X. When the Tesla Model X was unveiled many years ago, many industry analysts and pundits looked at this car and looked at what Tesla unveiled and was just like, there is no way that they are going to be able to manufacture what they unveiled up on the stage. There were so many cutting edge, complex features in this car, and especially with the Falcon Wing doors, the Model X's signature feature, many analysts were like, yeah, there's no way they're bringing that to market. And it was almost like they were egging Tesla and Elon Musk on. And Tesla and Elon were like, yeah, we're ready for the challenge. Looking back on this program, though, those industry analysts and pundits were somewhat correct in the assessment that this car was going to be almost nearly impossible to manufacture. This is where manufacturing hell started for Tesla, was with the Model X. This vehicle program had cost overruns. It was just sheer hell for the company. And looking back on it, Elon has blamed hubris. He said we've put too many features and over-engineered the car. And he's jokingly said that they probably should have never made the Model X and no one should ever make a car like the Model X ever again. That is how much hell this company went through when manufacturing the Model X. So looking back at that program, this then brings us to the next vehicle, the Model 3. The Model 3 was supposed to be different. Tesla did not want to make the same mistake they made with the Model X, and they couldn't afford to given the margins they knew they were going to have on the Model 3 and its $35,000 price point. From the get-go, Tesla had stated that the Model 3 was going to be designed to be easy to manufacture and it would have very few options when a customer would order a car, which all turned out to be true. There was just one problem, and that was the manufacturing assembly lines for the Model 3. Somewhere along the line after the Model 3 was announced, Elon Musk and, of course, Tesla became fixated on this idea of the machine that builds the machine. This was something Elon talked about in many calls with shareholders at each of the quarterly earnings call. He was fixated on this idea of the Fremont factory becoming an alien dreadnought full of automation. It would be unrecognizable from what it would look like today, and they were going to start this process of the machine that builds the machine with the Model 3 assembly lines. There's only one problem with that. Unlike with the Model X, Tesla did not over-engineer the car, but they over-engineered the process of building the car with the Model 3 program, thus beginning their second manufacturing hell.
Welcome. Welcome to production hell.
Actually, probably third if you count the Roadster, and I think the Model S went through one. Basically, everything's been manufacturing hell up until this point, but this was just on such a huge scale because the Model 3 is a mass market car. They are anticipating making hundreds of thousands of these cars a year. So the fact that Tesla over-engineered the Model 3's assembly lines meant that this car was delayed. It put an enormous amount of financial strain on the company. However, given all that, they did eventually get out of manufacturing hell, and they were able to start making the Model 3 at scale just a little bit later than they thought, and they spent way more money than they should have on this program. So with all of that, that brings us to the Tesla Model Y. which looks very similar to the Tesla Model 3. Tesla has said that the Model Y is going to share around 75% of its parts with the Model 3, which is why they look so similar. Now, do I think the Tesla Model Y is boring? No. No Tesla vehicle is boring. But I will say that the Model Y is very similar to the Model 3, and it's not really doing anything new in terms of its feature set. It does have a few features like its gorgeous panoramic roof and power lift gate, and it has a hatch as well and more storage space. None of these things are in the Model 3, but they can be found in other Tesla vehicles like the Model S and the Model X. So the fact that the Model Y is similar, to me, is actually a plus. They looked at it and they said, instead of over-engineering the car or over-engineering the manufacturing process, let's just take what we're doing with the Model 3 program, use as many parts as we possibly can to build a crossover SUV. And this gives me confidence that Tesla will not only know how to make this car, they have the relationships with the third-party manufacturers that make the parts, but they also should know how to build this car because they can model it in the way that they have with the Model 3 assembly lines to date, not when the Model 3 began because, again, they over-engineered the manufacturing process for it. But this gives me confidence and makes me very excited about the Model Y because Tesla, at this point in the company's history, they need to announce a car, manufacture it with relatively no issues, and then release it on time. This is what the major car companies, GM, BMW, Mercedes, all of these car companies can do this, and Tesla, unfortunately, has not been able to do this up until this point. If they can with the Model Y, that is going to send a signal to everyone across the globe that Tesla is a mature car company that can do what they say on the timeline that they said they could. And that is more important than any whiz-bang feature that's brand new that they could have put into the Model Y. Well, those are my thoughts on the Tesla Model Y and why its similarities to the Model 3 are a good thing. If you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more Tesla videos like this one. For 6 months later, I'm Josh Tedder. Thanks again for watching.